Hi, and welcome to our fourth podcast from TOT Presents Worthing. You can contact us at totpresentsworthing@gmail.com. Hope you've enjoyed our first three episodes. We've clocked up, I think, over 1,500 views so far. And this month we've got guests from, we've got Lorna, who's going to talk to us about an art project, and we've got Carl and Ben from Defamation Project, and also Son of Ugly, who are talking to us about the upcoming Surfest. So there's a big thanks to the Factory Live, who have helped fund us so far this year. We've also started fundraising ourselves, so we've done one of our world famous TOT presents tombolas and raised a little bit of money. There's going to be some more tombolas and raffles, and hopefully a fundraising gig coming up in June at Original Copy Worthing, which is next to Audio Active. And just to say that we're always looking for new guests. So if you're a local music performer, a DJ, a promoter, an artist, an author, then please do get in touch, and we'd love to have you on later this year.
Right, here in front of me, I have, hot off the press, the first issue of Music Saves Worthing, which, as it says on there, is a celebration of the local music scene from Worthing and the regions. It's a great read. You can find it in many places, including My Shop Train of Thought. It features people we've had, and it's just quite strange that, well, not strange, but a good coincidence that Luther started this pretty much the same time as we started these podcasts, and of course Luther featured in the first one. So yeah, there's quite a lot of them about in different venues, so come and have a look, and you can read about local bands and gigs and everything really. And talking about local gigs, I'm going to do a quick review of a gig that TOT Presents put on at Audio Active, or Eats and Beats, or now
Original Copy.
We had a gig 2 weeks ago. It's hopefully becoming a regular venue. We had the band Still, a sort of gothy band, or come from the remnants of The Last Cry. Pretty good turnout. I'm hoping we're going to have a lot more gigs. Well, we are going to have a lot more gigs there. Ollie is supporting us really well. Yeah. The gig was pretty well turned out. Kakum Baba, the first band, pretty dark, amazing sort of drone stuff, really. I love them. Really good guys. Radioactive Decay, fantastic. I think people, if you haven't seen Radioactive Decay, you should definitely go and see them. And Still, I think it was pretty much their first gig with Darren, who was a big part of our scene, playing guitar. Really good gig. I think they enjoyed it. It was a pretty good turnout, and we got two or three more gigs booked there coming up. So keep a lookout for them.
And you can see Radioactive Decay supporting Hung.
Oh yeah, of course, Radioactive Decay.
Hung by Hanratty.
When's that?
Yeah, don't know the date off, but it's at the Factory Live.
It's at the Factory, so don't miss that. Now, 2 keyboards, it's almost like Rick Wakeman, but it's nothing like Rick Wakeman. The next punkish noises didn't happen in March, but it will be happening April the 3rd. No line-up yet, but it will be April the 3rd. Punkish noises will be back at the Cellar.
Okay, and the other gig that we'd like to briefly review, another one of our gigs, we've been busy recently. It was a TOT Presents gig at the Charles Dickens pub downstairs in the basement, soon to be called Bunker 11. We'll tell you more about that soon. It's one of my, in terms of the lineup, one of my favourite gigs that we've put on at Dickens. We had a local band that we'd not ever seen before, and it's a bit strange because we know most of the local bands, but this band kind of popped up and surprised us. I believe they rehearsed at Ivy Art Studio, a band called Drench. And then they were followed by the amazingly named Nihilistic Biscuits, who travelled down with the third band, Dude Smell, who travelled down from Ipswich, I think, to do a few gigs on the south coast. That was a real treat. Broadly fell within the kind of punk crossover to metal kind of bracket. And then one of my favourite bands from Brighton, kind of an offshoot of Spleen, a band called Plague Arcade. We've got some clips that we'll cut into this podcast to show you a little bit of that gig.
At the art happening, and we've just had some music from Thomas, and now Joe Budd is doing a small mini theatre set, and then Pete Finch is just going to go on afterwards. So there's and then we have our live art happening with Mary Fivey in the background. So it's all happening.
Okay, so this month our guest is Lorna, and I'm going to allow her to kind of properly introduce herself.
Hello.
Hi.
So my name is Lorna Allen, and I'm a photographer and art director, and I live here in Worthing.
Excellent. So, I mean, most people that have kind of landed in Worthing or got to Worthing from wherever have got a little story about how they got here. So, and I know you're not originally a Worthingite, so what's your little story?
Yeah. Well, actually, my story is just very random. I used to live in London for a really long time, about 20 years probably. And yeah, I guess like a few people after the pandemic, I was looking to relocate and originally thinking I'd go back to Scotland. However, I had a little jaunt down. I visited Worthing a really long time ago, and I thought, oh, this place is quite nice. Never thought about it again. And, I knew a lot of people in Brighton, but I didn't want to live in Brighton. And, just Worthing popped up again. But I didn't really know anyone here, so it was a bit of a punt. So, yeah, I just randomly landed here.
Randomly landed, a bit like me. It was just kind of like, couldn't afford Brighton, and kind of looked and thought, oh, I can afford a house in Worthing, so here I landed 15 years ago. Oh. And what about your connection to Cellar Arts? How did that come about, your connection to Cellar Arts Club?
Well, like I said, I didn't actually know anyone here. So I guess I was just like looking to meet people and like make some friends. And so I have some friends out of town had come down. We had a night out in Worthing. We ended up at the Cellar Arts Bar, and then we just asked about the volunteering there. So I ended up volunteering there, and I love working in bars and stuff. And it was just such a great initiative and great vibes going on. And yeah, I really loved working there, and I ended up working on the committee for a little bit. So that's how I ended up knowing all of those people and all of those connections, and Kev, and like it just goes on and on from there, because it's really quite an epicenter, isn't it?
Is it a CIC, is that right?
It is, yeah. It is, yeah. And I think at the same time I had got a studio at Colonnade House. So that was also like another kind of part of Worthing sort of creative connections.
It's one of the little hubs, isn't it, around town?
Yeah. So that's how I started there.
And excellent. Well, that leads perfectly to the next question, which is about your recent projects that you've done through Colonnade House, and how did that come about, and what did that look like?
Well, yeah, I guess I was extremely lucky with that, really. So I was put forward for a project to do with the council where they had some budget that they wanted to put into different projects across the town, kind of testing 5G capabilities in the area. And so they had some money to, put into different things. And one of them was like a project on the seafront. And they chose my idea, which was, so on the seafront, on the prom, there's like a shelter and, it's an outdoor space. Getting myself knickers in a twist there. So yeah, I guess the idea was to have, to kind of highlight all these amazing creatives that we have in Worthing. I think since I moved here, I've been really taken back by the creativity that we have here. And I really wanted to like sort of platform all those people and all those amazing creatives that we have. So the sort of breakdown concept of it was, because it's like a parameter of a shelter, was to have this kind of deconstructed magazine layout. So we had like this north and south sides that kind of had the innards, and then the east and west were kind of like the bookends of the magazine, for example. So that's why the either the north and south sides kind of have this sort of structure that made them look like they were like going in. So it was like essentially a book, and they had like a sort of magazine layout. So brilliant. And that was...
So it's about bringing kind of almost the underground scene of Worthing up to the surface, I guess, wasn't it? Because some of those people, Joe Bunn, Kev, etc., they're quite well known, but in the circles that we kind of swim in. But, for other people out in Worthing, they're probably not seen or heard of some of those artists.
I think I was surprised because I'm so close with the Cellar, and then I was close with Colonnade House and a lot of those connections there. I was kind of surprised how not everybody knew each other. And then of course I'm just in town a lot, so I know other people from different things, and everybody knows everyone through a different way. But I think doing the project, it helped me kind of connect everyone. And it was just so beautiful to hear other people being like, oh, have you tried this person, or do you know them? And I know this person, they helped me this way. Like Pete would talk about Joe Bunn when he was young and how he started, and Kev, gosh, could talk about everybody. And Mary was talking about different people, and Wendy, it was just amazing. And and the kind of love for each other they have, really, it's just so authentic and genuine. And I was really humbled by the whole process and all the people I talked to and their creative practice and what they shared with me, actually. And the sort of, it was just such a really special project for me to do. And
and what was Pete Fidge's involvement in it? Because I think he was more than just featured in it, wasn't he?
Well, Pete, so I guess, so when the exhibition went up, it was in the summertime, and the Cellar shuts for a period of time. So we wanted to make an opening party, basically, but the Cellar was shut, and the timings didn't quite work out. So, and it was quite stressful getting to that point anyway. So we decided to have a kind of closing party. And I guess the months that it was on, it gave us a bit of time to think about what that would be. So I'd approached Pete, because Pete's just a creative hive in his mind, and we talked a little bit about what that could look like. And so he kind of came up with this idea that it would be like happening, which I loved, because it's kind of like this 60s vibe of like loads of things happening all at once, which kind of encapsulates what Worthing is. There is so many things all happening at once, bubbling under the surface. So that's kind of how we constructed the evening, I suppose. We wanted to kind of showcase lots of different things and different, creative endeavors from different people, and sort of bring that all together in a sort of mishmash of a night.
Well, it was definitely a mishmash. It was good because there was always 2-3 things going on at one point, wasn't there? I think there was at one point there was some live painting going on, and Pete was performing, and I think Joe Bunn was behind me popping out of a curtain doing some comedy. And
I guess we sort of thought about these different, having different, like I really wanted to change the space a bit in the Cellar, because it always has quite a specific format, and I guess we're limited to how much we could do, but we did sort of like have projections of what the whole process, some of the process from the exhibition was, and then I did a little set from Pete's picture, and then I was really keen to have this kind of live art going on and what that collaboration would look like. So I approached Mary, who's paints really fast and has got this amazing practice of, she paints a lot. Well, when she first moved to Worthing, she painted loads of waves and was very enchanted by the sea. So we sort of talked about her making this huge wave painting.
Yeah.
And then Sam, who's an illustrator, is, you know, a lot of his work comes from inspired from the pebbles on the beach.
Yeah.
So he does pebble magic.
Pebble magic, yeah.
And so we talked, we met together and we talked about how that would happen, how we could make that work.
Oh, so he overlaid on top of her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Mary kind of kicked it off with her painting, and that was just so exciting to watch her work live. I really loved that. You know, so there was music going on, and through the whole thing, she was like painting throughout. And then as the night went on, you know, and there was Maddie ended up rapping and doing his set at the end, and that's where Sam came on, and he was really G'd on by that music because he felt really aligned with that, and and he just went to town on top of it. So it was, it looked really great.
I've seen the finished. I think I missed the end of it. I had to go and drop off some posters and stuff. But I saw the finished piece at the Toad recently.
Oh yeah. So that was obviously, it was a temporary. You know, the event was happenings and performance art always just happens in a night. So we were lucky that the cellar kept up for a week or two, and then I managed to rehouse it at the Toad, it's great because actually now you can really see it in its full, you know, quite far away in a different context, and it sort of brings it to a different audience, which is really cool.
I mean, it's great on the evening. I think at one point there were people queuing to come in. So
yeah, it was like I didn't expect it to be.
No, I didn't know
busy.
what it was going to be, and I was like, wow, okay. And it was like one of those things that sometimes you're at home and you think, oh, it's a Thursday, I've got work tomorrow. Do I go out or do I not go out? And I got out, and so glad I did get out and see that. Yeah,
I was really surprised. I don't know. I guess, it was interesting because it was a bit different maybe to what we've done or I've done before anyway, event-wise. And it was just quite exciting to, I don't know, everyone was just really up for it, which was just so wonderful. I didn't have to ask twice or anything. Everyone was quite willing to, you know, give their time and be part of it, which just made it really special.
And to do something new as well, take risks as well. It's about taking risks, I think, isn't it?
Which is what I think we have in the community, this creative community in particular in Worthing. People are just really open to trying new stuff, to working together, to experiment. Yeah, like I mean, it's really safe.
The stuff I've done with Dart Fest, and that's involved Pete as well, where people have just said, "Oh, should we try this?" And I'm like, "Yeah, let's give it a go." And people will get out there and do stuff and put stuff on and take those risks.
Yeah, I love it, and you know, it's a great part of creativity is to have that space to do that, so that you can, you know, try something out, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, you learn. It's forgiving, and I think everyone here seems to really support that. Which means, I don't know, like I was saying, like at the end of the exhibition, how special it was for me, because I've literally never been anywhere that I felt so supported by a community ever. Like I feel very held by it here and really safe to like try things, and which has, you know, helped me grow as a creative, which has been really amazing.
Fab.
Yeah.
And what next, Lorna? What's coming up this year in terms of photography?
I might be helping Jen with the Worthing Festival branding, so that'll be really fun because that's going to be a very, very exciting.
That's in June, isn't it?
Yeah, that's going to be really exciting, and Jen's been working very hard on that.
Oh yes.
And then I guess photography wise, I've been working a little bit documenting with an amateur boxing club here. So I've just kind of started doing some documentary portraits at like amateur competitions. So getting the boxers as they come off the ring. So which has been quite exciting because there's a lot of like expression in their face, like their eyes are like wild. So they've just been in this really intense sort of situation. So you can
kind
really
of photogenic, but not in the normal kind of way. Yeah,
it's amazing. And quite a lot of them were like kids, like minors. So they're kind of like, I don't know, 14 to 18, and then there's a couple of older ones. So it's been really interesting. And I'm hoping that can evolve into something, into more of a documentary project, because I'd love to get really deep into another type of community that we have here, because I just think I'd just love to see the kind of imagery I could get from that and how that would evolve.
Excellent.
So
excellent. Well, we're looking forward to a boxing photography exhibition by you on the seafront in 2026. Thank you so much, Lorna.
Thank you.
Thank you. And hello, and welcome to our guests this month, which is Kyle and Ben, who are from the Defamation Project, that they can explain shortly. And I know Kyle originally from his participation in the Surf Fest and other events that we've put on through a band called Son of Ugly, which are an amazing band. And welcome to Top Presents podcast.
Yeah, thank you.
You are slightly different to a lot of the surf bands, because when we do Surf Fest, we don't. I've been to surf festivals where everyone is Dick Dale, and it's great, but after a while it gets a little bit. But you bring something different, don't you?
I think that's why Steve initially sort of contacted us, because I mean, we have the twangy guitars and stuff like that, and Ennio Morricone's sort of spaghetti western influences and stuff like that, which all sort of generates from surf anyway. So
it's just, it breaks it up a bit, doesn't it? The first time I saw it, I thought, because I love that music. But also Steve, when we mentioned Steve, will be doing one of these at a later date afterwards. Nice. It's just he's not well at the moment, and to be honest, I mean, I help Steve with Surfest, but Surfest is about Steve Quixote, really, isn't it? I mean, he's the guy who knows all the bands, and squadron leaders, who a lot of people might know, always play first. It's probably safer for Steve to play first, it must be said, because if he plays later, and that's the reason they do that. But I mean, they're a great band, aren't they?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
And so you got a new band this time then?
Me and my son, we've started a little death metal band, but a bit like Son of Ugly's not quite surf, we're not quite death metal.
So death metal with a hint of surf.
Oh no, there's no
surf at all. Right?
there is a little bit. Oh well, we're going to be doing a surf set at this year's one. But, currently it's more avant-garde sort of metal and stuff like that. So
what's the lineup for that then? Because I've only just realised, because I've only just seen the lineup for
Surf Fest.
I mean, your lineup. I mean, with the two of you, what instruments?
He's the drummer. The Dave Lombardo of the group, if you will.
Right. Yeah.
And I play baritone guitar and then have my voice going through effects. And
so there's no bank of keyboards?
No. I wouldn't go that far. Yeah,
there are some keyboards.
It's kind of the same setup I would have for Son of Ugly. We've done that on occasion,
you don't want to give that away too much then,
No, not for the Surf Fest. We've got something planned, but
So this year, we always do 2 surf festivals, in the Amsterdam, which is a fantastic pub for it. We used to do it outside, which was brilliant, but as an organiser, being inside is slightly less stressful with the weather. But it's a fantastic part, and it's become quite a big part of the Worthing scene now.
It's now established, isn't it? It's an established event.
There's been I mean, I think Steve said there was a band from Australia this year wanted to come, but we don't think we could quite afford their fare. But it really is a great atmosphere, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely, I always have a blast. If we're playing or not, I'll try and get my behind down there, because
a lot, bands come back. This year we got Horse Rock again, and Squadron Leaders, but there's a few new bands, including yourself and a band called The Borough, who I don't know, and another one I've gone off the top of my head. Surfisticats, that's Norwich, I mean, bands travel now, and there's not a lot of money in this, but it's a really good scene, isn't it? And we tend to try and look after them. People just love the day, don't they?
And the pizza.
And the pizza is,
they come from Australia for the pizza.
Yes. Well, so the next one will be in August, and I don't know what the lineup for that yet is.
Is that outdoors or too?
No, it'll be indoors again. I mean, sadly, but I don't know. I'm quite happy it's indoors, to be honest. Apart from trying to get to the loo, can be a bit of a problem in there. But you say you're looking to set up another surf fest yourself out of.
Yeah, I was in talks with the Eastbourne Pier to put one on there, because it was just a no-brainer for a thing, and they've always been they've started putting on metal events down there quite a bit, and they seem to be really well attended. So I was trying to plan something to be going all day down there at some point. But
I'm sure Steve will be more than helpful.
He was the first person I contacted,
because he's a bit of a king of the surf round here.
He's got the connections.
I mean, he really has, and he's done it for years, hasn't he? So I mean, I know a lot. Of course, I think one of the classic things about surf is, I think it's really hard to dislike it. Even if you're not a big fan. I think, because some music you put on all day, people get a bit, but it's hard to really. You can't hate surf music. Well, I'm sure there probably are a few people out there who do, but you know what I mean. I mean, I've seen people come there that are not fans.
Well, my brother's one of them. I mean, he's a dance music nerd, and then he came to it and was like, is there some sort of scene that actually facilitates all this sort of music? Because you'd never heard it before, you know. So
I know a few people said to me, "What is surf music?"
yeah, it's quite hard to explain. Isn't
it is.
as
Well,
well.
I'll just say the Beach Boys because they've never heard. If they don't know surf, they've never heard of Dick.
Yeah.
But they know what's it? The film. What's the
Miserloo, Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, I think
that's the one I always say.
That's probably the one that really gets people going, doesn't it?
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
so we might have a few surprises from you this year then.
Yeah, we're going to be as surprised as anyone, I should think. But we're actually going to be expanding the lineup for that one and bringing a bassist and guitarist in. So yeah, we need to hurry up and finish it. the writing.
Well, it's 5 weeks away now, isn't it?
I know.
Scared me.
Cutting it close. Yeah.
I mean, I suddenly thought, well, Easter, because we used to do it in May.
Yeah.
One of the May bank holidays, but I think the problem was a couple of other people jumped on the May thing.
Right.
So, and other bands started to get booked.
Yeah,
so I think that was when, and also because Easter's a bit late this year.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes it's the end
20th,
of March.
isn't it?
It's the 20th,
Yeah.
which is pretty much 4 weeks away, isn't it?
Yeah.
So.
Oh, so you've just lost a week. It was 5 weeks a minute ago.
Well, it's probably in the middle. 4.5, 5
Right,
weeks.
making me nervous.
You got 4 days, okay? 4 days. Get it together.
But Son of Ugly still doing stuff as well.
Yeah. We've got a couple of gigs coming up. Well, say coming up in a few months' time, but we're still making the fabled second album we've been threatening for a while, and we're almost ready to start recording that. So yeah, we're still very much going. And
We'll have to get you to come and do one of the Top Presents gigs as well. You know,
yeah, we'd love to.
Either at the Audio Active, which would be good, or down at the Dickens.
I met Oscar, the sound guy.
Yeah.
He was saying, "Come on down."
Have you still got Pete in Son of Ugly? Is he
Yeah,
still
Pete
playing
from across
Excellent.
the sea.
So
of course,
we can have
'cause he's played a lot of Worthing gigs, hasn't he?
45-minute long guitar solo.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Wrists of steel.
Yeah.
I won't go any further into that, but
Yeah, connotations.
But no, we'll definitely get that sort of plugged in.
hopefully Son of Ugly will come to the August Surf Fest.
Well, yeah, I'm sure you will. Yes,
Yeah,
we can't do
yeah.
2 in a row without you.
Yeah, exactly,
I mean,
yeah.
because you have been stalwarts from the word go. I mean, I am really looking forward to it. I mean, it gets messy.
Oh yeah,
as it should. Well, it's just a fantastic day, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, and I know people travel for it as well, not just the bands, people travel. Yeah, I mean, I think half the band, they come back each time, don't they? So they must love it.
Yeah.
Well,
Because it's not the money. I know that.
Yeah, I wondered if the first Surfista Cats were anything to do with the other guys from Norwich that sometimes
there
come
was
down.
another Norwich band,
They
wasn't
did
there?
start doing Emerson, Lake and Palmer covers.
The
And
sort
stuff
of
like that.
the sort of proggy.
Yeah.
Because prog and surf are not normally things that sort of
No,
mix
not
together.
usually,
But I mean,
I think they did the Muffin Man by Zappa.
that sounds yeah.
Yeah.
But it is good, isn't it? Because it does vary a bit. Like Paul Groovy
Yeah.
goes off on his own sort of tangent as well, doesn't he?
That's
But
just horse rock as well.
are they the ones with the T-shirt? The
I think
change.
they're the ones with the masks.
The
aren't they?
masks, yeah. I get well. It all gets a bit, when there's been so many bands, I announce the bands and quite often get the names wrong. But
On purpose.
I can claim it's on purpose.
Just be
but-
careful with the defamation projects. It can easily be led to defecation.
Well, yeah, definitely.
Well, now you've put the thought in his head. Now.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's it. That's
Set
it.
him up to
Yeah.
fail.
I mean,
You
I'm
set him up to
gonna
fail.
but
And you're performing after this recording, I believe. You're off to Brighton.
Yeah, we've just been pulled into Metal to the Masses Heat 3 for
Oh,
tonight.
yeah. Kind of
oh,
like-
right, you're playing a gig tonight.
Yeah, we've been recording all day at my studio, and then
Well, this is the two of you.
yeah,
Yeah.
Two of
and
us,
then
yeah.
yeah, they had several bands drop out, so we were like, oh, go on then, we've got all our stuff here, so.
Okay, so well,
Yeah.
what time are you on?
8:50, I think, or 9ish.
Okay, right.
Hopefully
Well,
9-ish.
that is proper. That I mean, that
Some
is
speed
really.
cameras, I think.
Yeah.
Get to that.
So yeah, having 4 days notice to get ready for Surfest is
It's
walk in the park.
yeah,
If you
yeah,
do
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Do it
Couple of
four-
hours,
4
yeah.
hours notice, 4 days, 4 weeks.
We're professionally unprepared.
Yeah.
You know.
Awesome.
So,
Well, anyway, thanks for that, because I think we probably better not keep you much longer.
No, we've got to go, man.
Thanks
But
for
no, cheers for that. Though.
Thanks for
Thank
coming
you.
along.
Thanks for having us.
See you on the Easter Sunday.
absolutely, you will. Yeah.
Surfest. Okay, so coming up at the factory, we've got Tigers of Pantang, who are being supported by Hellfire Club. That's on Friday the 11th of April. That's in conjunction with Hammerdown. We've got The Beat featuring Rankin Jr. and the Trojan Beat, which is Saturday the 12th of April at the Factory Live. We've got the Billy Walton Band on the Wednesday the 16th of April. That's a female-fronted blues rock band with high energy jam, soaring sounds, sax and electric guitars. And Felix Rabin and Beth Sarah, Thursday the 17th of April. That's blues rock, also at the Factory Live. And we've also got, which we mentioned as well in another part of this podcast, Hung Like Hanratty, punk band, who are being supported by the local Credentials at the Factory Live again. Also coming up shortly from Hammerdown, they've got a gig at the Charles Dickens pub, and that's by an old kind of band that we know from Bar 42 days, and also a band that I put on as a local Comic-Con, Wormhole Comic-Con. That was so we got Tidal Rave, who are full-on party band, with Creeping Embers, who I don't know, but looking forward to. Table Football, a band, I believe, as opposed to Table Football, and a band that we do know, Written in Red. So that's going to be really interesting. Written in Red alongside Tidal Rave, quite an unusual mix.
Very different.
Yeah, very different genres, and I quite like that kind of mixing up of genres rather than just doing punk or just doing metal or whatever it might be. Also, Hammerdown have got an amazing 11-band lineup. It's Hammerdown Unplugged. It's in Brighton, but come on, it's not far across the coast by the train. That's on the 5th of April at Dalton's. So coming up from Top Presents, our next gig at the Charles Dickens on April the 11th, we've got Dunce starting off, followed by Drive-By Kills, which are Brighton-based kind of horror metal band. Then a band who are travelling down called Slacker. I'm really excited to see. I've heard loads of really good things about them, but not managed to see them. And we've headlined by Such Better Days. So thanks very much for joining us for our 4th podcast.
And any comments you want to put would be gratefully received, hopefully.
Yeah, so please do follow us on YouTube and comment positive criticism,
etc. Yeah, and don't forget to pick
almost
up
welcome.
your copy of Music Saves. So until next time,
It's good night from me.
and it's good night from him.